citizen. My question on it, though, is one of the signs that you're living in a police state is like when nobody knows the law, including the police. And that's pretty much what we have now. All you need to do is look outside and see all the cameras around watching you. And I know that was before the NDAA, but it's another root of the problem. And we really need to have strict regulations as far as how these people operate. And I'll tell you right now, most of these police, they don't even teach them basic constitutional law. They teach them escalate. You don't comply, they escalate force, even if you're peaceful. And this is basically opening a huge can of worms for them to tread on people's rights. And I don't know if people have heard of HR 347. That's the thing that bans free speech in wherever the Secret Service establishes a zone, and it's a felony. Peaceful free speech is a felony in America. I mean, this is not Russia, it's not China, it's not Nazi Germany, it's supposed to be America. But I just want to know what you guys think about that. That's all I have. Thank you.
A couple of years ago, I think Obama, I guess, authorized the assassination of al-Mullah, one of the, I guess, Al-Qaeda terrorists. And he's a U.S. citizen. And as far as him being a U.S. citizen, how does that pertain to the NDAA?
Great question.
One more? Yeah.
I don't have a question so much as a comment. I'm from the Japanese American Citizens League, and our organization has done a lot of work on this. I think our constituency or our members aren't really that political, but this issue has really mobilized our membership like nothing before, because over 100,000 Japanese Americans were indefinitely detained without due process during World War II. And I'm just really glad to see that this space is here and that you guys are having this great dialogue. And
Hi, I'm Gus Alzona. You can Google my name. I was a recent candidate, GOP candidate for Congressional District 8. I was the only one who agreed with the panel up there concerning the issues. I was also a coordinator for the Ron Paul campaign here in Montgomery County. I'm a long time. Well, I'm an immigrant to this country. I grew up in Washington, D.C., moved to Maryland, been a citizen and taxpayer in Maryland since the early 70s. So I'm sort of like a part of the establishment, but then not challenging. I'm challenging the establishment. I just wanted to mention that there are a lot of conservative Republicans even here in Montgomery County who agree. Granted, we are in the minority. We call us the constitutionalists for liberty, and we're working with libertarian folks. But needless to say, a lot of us got slaughtered in the primary. I don't know. I guess sort of my question is this: is of the incumbents running and the challengers running in the Maryland federal elections, which are the ones? And I know since Democrats control this state, which are the ones which are least friendly? I mean, I know Chris Van Hollen. I know where his position is, and he and I agree on certain issues, including that. But which are, I guess, the least friendly or the most, whichever way you want to take it, to this, as far as the NDA goes, and most likely to cooperate in getting it overturned, or the opposite?
Great questions.
Really?
I mean, you guys are clearly paying attention,
Well,
which is fantastic.
Could you answer that one? I mean,
Yes,
is it?
we will.
Is it?
We will. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We took notes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to defer on the Maryland because I have no idea. It looks like we have one.
This is scripted, but I've been meaning to ask both of you this, either one or both. While there have been many attempts through both peace and civil liberties organizations to deal with the breach of our constitutional rights under the auspices of the Patriot Act and now the NDAA over the last decade, very little has been done to examine the events of 9/11 and the responsibility and burden that it carries to those in government that used it as a seminal pretext for the global war on terror. With the abundance of critical forensic science evidence, media and eyewitness accounts that were suppressed from the official 9/11 Commission report in 2004, do you feel that the U.S. government will ever relinquish the state of emergency this nation has been under these last 10 years without a credible and unbiased investigation of the facts? And as an attorney, as attorneys, how would you support those dedicated volunteer professional science and engineering organizations seeking justice and truth to what happened that day in Lower Manhattan, calling for a new investigation?
So I'll actually start, and I'll start with that, and this is going to sound sort of heretical, but this is a terrible thing to say, but there's a level at which it no longer matters. And not, I don't mean that in the sense of the facts don't matter or the truth doesn't matter, but in the sense of, I think, no matter what anybody said they found out about 9/11 at this point, we have developed we've developed our responsible living in it. So, and several other people have said things tonight that I think it's really important to draw back, and it actually in some ways comes to what you said about security cameras. Why is all this happening? And why doesn't more of the public want to know about it?
But it's serving two purposes, and the reason why I say that is it was the casus belli that got us, that started this whole thing.
But so
Whether you want to push it aside or not.
So Shahid said something that's I think is really the key to this, that our system of government was designed to be crabs in a bucket. That we were designed to have our institutions at each other's throats. And the response that came to dominate after 9/11, and there's a great book that I love by a guy named Peter Starnes called American Fear, which I really recommend because it traces the psychology of how it is that Americans have sort of taken certain things and said, this is so terrifying that they're outside the norm of everything we can deal with.
Cognitive dissonance.
It's wonderful. It actually goes back to sort of child rearing in the 1920s. It's really, really interesting. But, so we defined for ourselves that we had been unacceptably frightened as a nation, and that the people who we decided were responsible for unacceptably frightening us, we collectively created a story about how those folks were somehow not fully human, they certainly weren't Americans, and they were therefore not eligible for, when we talked about constitutional rights, we didn't mean them. And that's the foundation of so many of the issues we brought up tonight, other issues that we touched on, is this idea that the war on terror and 9/11 were so far outside normal human experience, which frankly is only possible if you live in the United States in the late 20th.
But what if our government keeps running behind that?
So this is the point to know that there's a huge segment of our political elite, our security elite, and a lot of scared politicians who think that the phrase criminal prosecutions is laughable because these people aren't criminals, they don't deserve to be criminals because criminals have rights under our Constitution. And so the challenge that actually has to happen at the grassroots to fix any of this going forward is to make it clear that the public is ready to reject that and move beyond it. And as I said, I don't believe that's going to happen by an investigation of what happened in the past because Americans have lots of amnesia and short-term memory. I do believe it's going to happen by Americans saying, number one, it's been 10 years, we're ready to move on, and number two, we don't like what this is doing to us as a society. And whether it's we don't like it because we remember this movie from our parents and grandparents, whether we don't like it because we don't like security cameras, whether we don't like it because we don't like our children's emails being read when they go to college, any of these reasons. But this is the underlying theme, I think.
We've been going through 10 years of this, and we're on the precipice of going into Syria and Iran.
And thank you for reminding me about Maryland. So this would be my sort of armchair take about this, that Senator Mikulski is very, very excited about cyber warfare and cyber threats. So I would say that's a place where there could be a lot of education profitably done. And I think, your comment about Senator Cardin is maybe somebody who's a little more close still to this side of the base. On the House side, it would be interesting to look at whether, and you know more about this than I do, whether some of the Western Republicans have interest, can be induced to have libertarian leanings, how strong a showing Ron Paul made in their counties, how much interest there is in that. And to be honest, we have a lot of scared establishment Democrats.
I just wanted to urge everybody to join us this coming Monday at City Council to please speak for the resolution. Urge them to put it on the agenda to pass the resolution and come and speak. That really makes a difference, and that's part of why I was really looking forward to tonight, is to have so many people here, and really thank all of you for coming. This will be at 7:30, right across the hall here in the City Council chamber. There's always a public comment period, and so if you're from Takoma Park, please come and speak this coming Monday.
It's only 30 minutes, so
yeah, and you just take three minutes, say your piece. It can be very simple, but it's very powerful, and it means a lot to the council members, and it could really swing the balance in favor of getting this resolution. So I really hope all of you can make it. And here's some other flyers to take along about this. I'll pass them around. So thanks very much.